That's Nick from Lean 6. Now Ryan and I have just finished our run and I've just walked back to the car. Now we recommend a 2-minute light jog or walk when you've finished your run to get your heart rate back down to resting levels. Now what most people do is they get in the car, put the heater on and they drive straight home after their run. If you want to ease those sore, tired muscles, reduce your chances of injury and make sure you're fresh for your next run or training session, you should do a cool down after your run. So today I'm going to take you through a 7-minute cool down routine which you can follow along with. I've just grabbed my trusty mat out the back of the car, so let's get to it. So firstly, we're going to stretch out your quads. Find something you can hold onto for balance. If you're not back at the car, then a tree or a fence will do. Stand nice and tall, focusing directly on something in front of you. This will help you keep your balance and your posture nice and upright. So stretch one leg behind, grasp it with your hand, and then pull it up into the stretch. Now what a lot of people do is they stand with the stretched leg pointing away from the body. Make sure your stretched leg is close into the other leg. If this leg is out here, you aren't going to be stretching your quad at all. You should feel the stretch in the front of the leg, in the quadricep and up into the hip flexors. So we hold this for 30 seconds, then we're going to swap legs. So now we've stretched the quads, we're going to move on up to the hip flexors. Now a lot of runners get tight hip flexors. This can limit your range of motion when you run by reducing the amount of hip extension you can produce when you're running. Now this alters your running style and technique and means you won't be able to run optimally and ultimately not as fast. So to loosen off the hip flexors, we're going to do a pigeon stretch. You can do this on the ground, on a box or on a chair. Now we're going to stretch both sides again, so kick one leg back and place one leg completely flat on the floor like this. Now you should be feeling this stretch higher than the quad stretch up into the hip flexors here. So next we're going to work on your hamstrings by doing a seated hamstring stretch. The hamstrings are one of the most injured muscles in runners. Now, they're responsible for a lot of hip extension and knee flexion when you run. So if your hamstrings aren't flexible, it's easy to overstretch them, pull or tear them. Now by doing this hamstring stretch, you're reducing the likelihood of this happening when you run. So you're going to sit on the floor with one leg stretched out in front of your body and the other bent with your knee out to the side like this. You're going to lean forward towards your foot and bring your hands down the leg as far as you can. So we're working our way up the leg, so now we're going to stretch out the glute muscles. The glutes are one of the most activated and utilised muscles when we run, so it's really important we give them a bit of TLC. Now we're going to sit with one leg out in front of your hips and one leg behind, bend both knees at 90 degrees. Then you're going to lean forward towards your front knee to feel a real stretch in your butt and in your lower back. Now when you've done this, you can release the stretch by bringing your torso back up. So I'm going to go down into the stretch now and hold. So now we've stretched the quads, the hamstrings and the glutes. We're going to now stretch your lower back. And when we run, our lower backs take a lot of pressure. This pressure increases when we start to get tired. This is when our running posture, our form and our technique change. And we tend to lean forward a bit more, which puts extra pressure on our lower back. So this stretch is called the child's pose. We're going to get onto all fours like I am at the moment. Go wider with your knees and keep your hands forward and sit back onto your heels as we get into the child's pose position. Try and relax your head and shoulders, taking out any tension you might be feeling and hold that for 30 seconds, remembering to breathe. You should feel a really nice stretch in the lower back. If you're not getting as good a stretch as you'd like, you can try lengthening the distance you create with your arms, which will really help you get a good, deeper stretch. You're doing great, guys. So now on to the final two stretches, and we're going to be stretching the calves. A lot of people forget that there are two muscles in the calves that need to be stretched. The first is the gastrocnemius. This sits on top of the calf, and then almost underneath that is the soleus muscle. So let's take the gastrocnemius, or gastroc for short, and do the gastroc prone stretch. Put your hands and feet on the ground while facing down. Think of this like an extended plank position. Straighten your knees and try to push one heel down towards the ground. Cross your other leg over the top to apply extra pressure to the stretch and hold for 30 seconds. Then repeat on the other side. Remember to keep your head in line with your body to prevent hyperextending the neck during the stretch. So now onto our final stretch and part of the calf that often gets overlooked. I remember when I had shin splints back in the day and I could barely walk. Tight calves can play a big part in making this condition worse. When the soleus is tight, it can rub on the shins and make walking and running more painful. So if you're feeling tightness here at the bottom of the calf, then you're experiencing tight soleus muscles. So find something to hold on to Now put one leg forward to stay stable. Keep the whole of the back foot on the floor, making sure the heel always stays on the ground. You want to get that knee over the toe on the back leg. If you aren't feeling a good stretch, you want to squat down a bit more. Okay guys, that's your 7-minute cool down done. You should be feeling better already. You can use this cool down whenever you've worked your lower half, in the gym or even after a long walk if you're feeling tight. So if you found this video useful, please hit the like button, and to make sure you don't miss any future follow-alongs, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you've got any running friends that would benefit from this, please share it with them. If you'd like us to cover, comment below and let us know. That's it for now. We'll see you in the next one.